This is the Saturn V rocket, moments away from lifting off and taking the Apollo 11 astronauts to the moon. With 15 seconds to go, NASA commentator Jack King says this.
T-minus 15 seconds, guidance is internal.
It may not seem very significant, but it meant that the Saturn V was now relying on its own guidance system, the one that would steer it towards the moon. This incredible system was completely independent from the outside world, and worked by measuring how the rocket's velocity and orientation had changed relative to its starting position. Because of this, the rocket needed to be absolutely sure of its starting position, or else it would end up on a completely different trajectory. The Saturn V had a predetermined starting position, with its y-axis facing north and south, the z-axis facing east and west, and its x-axis pointing directly up. But as the Earth rotated, these axes would no longer reflect the rocket's true orientation. So how did NASA correct this in time for launch? The entire Saturn V rocket was controlled by the instrument unit, located at the top of the third stage. It contained the inertial guidance platform, an advanced mechanical gyroscope that could measure the rocket's orientation with incredible accuracy. The basic principles of a gyroscope involves a disc mounted on a 3-axis gimbal. The disc is free to rotate in every direction, but once the disc starts to spin, its angular momentum keeps it perfectly stable, even if the gimbals are rotated. The Saturn V's gyroscope worked on the same principle, but was much more advanced. Instead of a single spinning disc, the guidance unit had a central platform containing 3 spinning gyros placed 90 degrees apart from each other. If the rocket's orientation changed, these gyros would sense a slight change in torque, which was turned into an electrical signal. That signal was then sent to motors on each gimbal, which would reproduce the change in torque, but in the opposite direction, canceling out the rotation and keeping the platform completely stable. On the opposite side of the gimbal, a device would measure how much the gimbals had rotated relative to the platform, telling the rocket exactly what direction it was pointing in. This, along with the acceleration data, would allow the flight computers to plot the rocket's trajectory. But if the gyroscope wasn't perfectly aligned to the rocket's axes during launch, it would completely throw off the rocket's trajectory. Say you have a car that's programmed to follow this trajectory through a crossroads. Its guidance system only knows that it accelerated and took a right turn. If we change the starting position of the car, the guidance system will see the exact same thing, but the car will end up in the wrong place. In the 5 hours leading up to the launch, the Saturn V's gyroscope would be powered on and trying to keep itself stable. However, the Earth was constantly rotating, which meant the rocket's orientation was also slowly changing. Without any external input, the gyroscope would become so misaligned that the rocket would think it was pointing sideways. In order to reset the Saturn V's gyroscopes to the desired axes, it used highly accurate reference points. The Y and Z axes were reset by 2